Hey everybody, this is Derek for the Grumpy Guy Show, talking about episode number 66, The Weather Moving In Surprises Florida Man, recorded on October 4th, 2022. Tonight we talk about Hurricane Ian on 3 separate topics. Stick around, it's a good show. Good evening everybody, welcome to the Grumpy Guy Show. I'm Derek McAllister.
I'm Ryan McAllister.
So tonight, well, we're kind of stuck with talking about Hurricane Ian. Because Ryan didn't add anything because there wasn't any good crashes to complain about.
There wasn't a truck race, but I don't bother watching the truck series anymore.
Yeah. Well, you know. What can you do? Alright, so it may end up being a pretty short episode, folks, because you know, last week I was on vacation and, you know, just didn't get to watch the news a whole lot. And the big story was, of course, the hurricane. So, what do you say we get into the first one?
Sure.
All right. So, let's talk about the weather coverage for Hurricane Ian.
Let's talk about the hurricane. Nothing else.
Yeah, that's probably what it's going to be. But, so, all through the week leading up to it, of course, you know, they had all kinds of coverage talking about how bad it's going to be and everything, and I get it. You know, there's no question it was going to be bad. It gained strength once it crossed Cuba. You know, it crossed Cuba at a Category 3 hurricane, and before it hit Florida, it was Category 4, almost a Category 5, which I believe the categorization is based in part on the strength of the wind. It was very, very close to becoming a Category 5 before it made landfall in Florida. So I get all of the coverage on it. They were trying to make sure that people didn't say, oh, well, you know, big deal. But, you know, the problem I have with the weather coverage on it comes once it started getting close to making landfall. What did these news agencies do? And this wasn't just ABC, which is the one that we generally watch. This was every single channel. They put people right down there. So, you know, here the governor's issuing all kinds of evacuation orders, which we'll get to in a few minutes, but he's issuing all kinds of evacuation orders, and what happens? Let's send some people down there. Now, I get the hurricane hunters, you know, because that's their job. That's what they do. They're going in trying to find out data and information about these hurricanes. So I get that. But these weather people, I mean, come on. What's the point of that other than to say it, you know, other than putting them in harm's way? Oh, I know what it is. Ratings.
Yep.
You know, and they were talking about this one guy. They talked to him and said, you know, what is it that you do while you're there? You know, what's the worst you've ever been in? And he talked about how there were times that he had to actually hold on to a street sign just to stand up because the wind was so strong. And it wasn't with Ian, it was with some other hurricane. And,
wow.
You know, there was another time he said that, you know, they tied a rope around him so that he didn't get washed away with the storm surge. And I'm like, seriously, is it worth it?
No.
I truly don't understand what the point of putting these people down there in the middle of this hurricane is, other than to get ratings.
That's exactly what. That's the only reasoning for it, is to get ratings.
You know, these people, they talk to these meteorologists about this stuff, and one of them was the chief meteorologist there for ABC, Ginger, whatever her name is. You know, she's in a hotel room, and she's trying to do this, and you can barely hear her because the wind is coming through the windows. She's got them all closed, but it's just such a loud whistle because there's so much wind pounding against these windows that they can't stop the wind. And it's just whistling so bad you can barely hear her. And of course she's got, you know, she's not using the little lapel mic. She's got a mic she's holding, and it's right next to her mouth. So it's not like, you know, it's a bad microphone or something. There was just so much noise, you know, and I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Why do we continue to put these people in harm's way for no reason whatsoever?
Ratings.
Yeah. Ratings and money. That's all it is. It's ratings and money.
Ratings is money.
Yeah. Yeah. That is true. But, you know, I don't know. It's just stupid. Really stupid.
It is.
So, but that kind of leads us to the next thing. You know, as far as the evacuation orders. So, yes, folks, that was a transition.
World famous.
Hey, I'm not saying world famous. I'll say our famous ones. So, the next one is about people taking
Famous
personal...
to our one viewer.
Yeah. The next one is about people taking video while the storm is hitting. Okay, so there's a ton of people. I mean, it happens with every hurricane or storm or whatever. There's always people who refuse to evacuate. So in this one instance, these people, they refuse to evacuate. And of course, the storm's coming, and they're all standing out on their patio. Now, I mean, you can see in the video, the one person who stayed inside who was somewhat intelligent, taking video of the idiots outside.
Somewhat.
Yeah, somewhat. But
this is Florida we're talking about.
Yeah. So they're
even the governor is intelligent.
Yeah. So they're taking video of these people outside. And outside you see things flying along. And I'm not talking things that you should see flying along. We're not talking birds or anything like that, okay? We're talking chairs, tops, roofs. I mean,
yep.
Umbrellas are just like zinging by,
Stuff that you'd expect to be flying in a hurricane.
Yeah. So all that stuff's flying by, and these people are standing out there. They're all giddy, all standing there with their phones, they're all like, oh, look, oh, I'm recording, oh. And then all of a sudden, there's this huge clap of, this huge flash of lightning, and it wasn't far away from them, and it was almost deafening in the video, and they all just screamed, and they start running to get inside. I'm like, really? So you're not afraid of the fact that, the wind can throw... Yeah. There's chairs flying, and it's been proven before. It's been proven before that in winds like that, it can actually throw a piece of straw. Not a straw, but hay. A piece of hay through a tree, or at least into a tree. And you're stupid enough to stand out there in this stuff. I mean, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you people? And Let me say
this again. Florida.
Yeah. And what kills me is the fact that it's the clap of, it's the flash of lightning and the clap of thunder that scares them. I'm like, okay, you're brilliant. But
stuff that you're much more likely to see than flying chairs.
Yeah. Especially, especially if you watched the the satellite coverage that they had, the satellite video. I mean, the top of this storm is just constantly flashing. Mm-hmm. That's lightning, people. It's not like somebody's down there with a freaking strobe light or something, That's lightning. I mean, they show, granted, they're playing it at a little higher speed, but when the lightning doesn't stop, it doesn't matter that they're playing it at a higher speed. When you have flash, when they play a 30-second clip, which is 10 minute, I don't know if it's 10 minutes of real time or not. And it might not have even been sped up. It might have been real time. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But when the lightning never stops flashing in whatever length of time that clip is, don't stay outside. Don't be surprised when the frickin' stuff lands near you. Mm-hmm. It's just like, come on. They told you to leave. Frickin' leave, you morons. I just...
And that's one of our dumber governors telling you to leave.
Yeah, I mean, he made no bones about it that, you needed to leave. Mm-hmm. And there was one area, I don't remember where it was, but one area where the evacuation order came late. And of course, all these people do is whine and complain because, the evacuation order came so late, I didn't have time to grab my stuff. And no. You don't get it. Your stuff can be replaced.
Just get out.
I mean, it's a hurricane. It's not like, yep, it's going here. That's it. That's for sure. It's going right here. Mm-hmm. For the entire time that I was watching it, I didn't see the very end of it because we weren't home. But the entire time I was watching it, they said it's going to cross Florida and then it's going to kind of curve and go up to the Carolinas. Mm-hmm. So it's going to go off the coast, re-strengthen a little bit, possibly regain hurricane status, and then curve back in and hit the Carolinas. Well, what happened? It didn't curve all the way back in. It didn't. I don't believe it made landfall again. I believe it stayed out in the ocean. Not saying that there weren't high winds and tons of rain because, the thing was like 400 miles in diameter. So, yeah, there was a lot of wind and a lot of rain. But it stayed off the coast. Every single computer model that they had said that it was going to hit the Carolinas. Guess what?
It didn't really.
Yeah, the eye of the storm did not hit the Carolinas. So guess what, folks? It's unpredictable. Mm-hmm. So, granted...
It's gonna.
Yeah. Granted, maybe they should have given an order sooner, but they're doing the best they can. I mean, and what good would it have done? If they gave you an order to evacuate, 3 hours earlier than what they did, you'd spend all your damn time packing up your stupid crap that can all be replaced. Mm-hmm. Instead of just grabbing grabbing the bare minimums like your pets and your car keys and getting in the car and getting the hell out of there.
Phone, wallet, keys.
You don't even necessarily need your phone. But yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be a good thing to grab. Mm-hmm. You don't need to get all kinds of clothes. You don't need to get all kinds of food. You don't need to grab all kinds of, sentimental things. No. Mm-hmm. It's a deadly storm coming your way. Guess what? Get the hell out.
Yep. Make a run for Georgia.
Yeah.
Or better yet, Alabama.
Well, you had a choice. You could either go to the north, to Georgia, or even just northern Florida, or you could have gone to the south because it was going across the middle of the state. So pick your direction. Just pick a direction and go.
Yep.
I mean,
In that case, make a run for Miami. Pack that city even more.
well, the problem with going any place on the coast is storm surge.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how far south it went. I don't believe it went as predicted through Orlando. I think it went a little bit south of that, but any place along the coast is a bad place to be because you're going to get storm surge. Or, as one of these people who's lucky enough not to actually be in the storm itself, he was supposed to be, but the storm went farther north, so he wasn't in there. But that storm surge, guess what, folks? That water comes from someplace. So where this guy was, he was showing that the water level was down like 6 feet below normal. And he's saying, as tempting as it is, folks, please don't go out into the bay and walk in this area because the water is going to come back. And I just find it so ridiculous that we have to say something like that. The water comes from someplace, it's got to go someplace afterwards.
Yep.
I mean, as flat as Florida is and as low as it is to sea, as close as it is to sea level, it's still above sea level, which means the water's going to go back to where it came from at some point. Just like, you gotta be kidding me. There's people doing this. And then there was some idiot, I don't know, I'm sitting there watching this video, and this idiot's like, it was before the storm actually made landfall, and he was right in the town where it was going to make landfall or whatever, and he's like on the side of a pier trying to swim. There's like 20-foot waves coming in, and he's deciding he's going to get in there and swim. I'm like, oh, you're brilliant. There's no undertow there at all. I'm just like, come on, people. And that kind of leads us to the last topic that we have listed here, which is
Florida's just a little bit dumb as people, man.
This stuff happens everywhere. It's not just Florida. I mean,
yeah, but Florida shows it the most.
Yeah, I think what it is really is it comes down to the same issue that there is as far as all these videos of shootings and whatnot. People are more interested in capturing video because they have their phone, and everybody's got a phone now, so everybody can take video, and it's decent quality video. So people are more interested in taking video of things and posting it, so we see more stuff. It doesn't matter if gun violence is actually down. What people are seeing is that there's more shooting videos coming up and appearing because there's more opportunities to take video. It's easier. It used to be, I mean, seriously, you look at the size of this microphone. I mean, 30 years ago, you couldn't have a microphone this small. It would be significantly larger with less quality. Well, video cameras were even worse. I mean, the first video camera that I recall seeing, it was literally one, I mean, it was, trying to think, basically the size of a shoebox. It was huge. And at the time, that was like state of the art for home video cameras. And I'm just like, holy crap, that's huge. And the quality wasn't very good. Where you look at, cell phones, you can get my Pixel 6, I believe I can do 4K at 60 frames a second. That's incredible. And it's so small, and it's just, that's just a portion of the capabilities of the phone. So, you just sit back and you kind of think about that. That's why there's so many of these videos appearing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so easy to take it. And of course, like I said, everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame. They want to get a video and post it on YouTube and have it become, some serious hit so that suddenly they can earn money on YouTube. And, it's like...
Which is not going to happen.
Well, it can happen.
Only a small percentage of people who upload to YouTube will end up making money off of it.
Yeah, it's YouTube's terms of service for monetizing. It's not in favor of people at all.
Mm-hmm.
But, there's just so many people that feel, oh, well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to put it on YouTube and I'm going to go viral and I'll get my 15 minutes of fame because some news station will decide they want to talk about my viral video. It's like, come on.
Yeah, you're not going to go viral.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. But at any rate, so the last topic that we have on here, it kind of goes hand in hand with those idiots that are jumping off of piers and then, in the early stages of a hurricane, or those people who decide not to evacuate because, well, they know better, because they're only scared of lightning. They're not scared of
flying chairs.
Yeah, they're not scared of 190-mile-an-hour winds. They're only scared of the lightning.
Mm-hmm.
So, my question is, who pays to rescue these people?
Taxpayers?
Yep, taxpayers do. And it ticks me off. It's just like all these, these extreme hikers who go to all these really high mountains, or the ones that are doing the rock climbing, or, they go out and they go on these multi-day or multi-week hikes by themselves. And it's like, it costs the taxpayers a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And these people just don't think about that. Like those people in the... There was a news story on... I think it was on the morning news that I caught, where somebody was in their house and they somehow called a local news station and were talking to them. They were all on the second floor of their house, and they were saying that they needed help. They needed to be rescued right away because the water was still rising. It was already waist deep on the second floor of their house, and it's still rising. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you were likely told to evacuate.
And you didn't.
And you also likely heard when the governor said that emergency people, first responders, whether you're talking EMT, police, fire, National Guard, anything like that, they will not be responding to any calls for help until the hurricane passes.
Mm.
So you kind of knew that this was coming. You were told to evacuate, and you decide, nah, I'm going to stick around. Even though every single news station out there was forecasting up to an 18-foot storm surge. 18 feet is enough to bury a 2-story house, pretty much. So, come on, people. What the hell are you thinking? I don't know. And the worst part is they don't even think about, go beyond just the cost to the taxpayers. All of these first responders are putting their lives in danger, saving these idiots too.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's face it, Florida has, they've got sharks all through the waters. And granted, they may have disappeared because, animals tend to sense things like hurricanes or even earthquakes before humans can even think about it. Mm-hmm. So perhaps there weren't any sharks. And the reason I point out...
Sharks went north.
The reason I point out...
Like the people should have.
Yeah. The reason I point out the fact that there could be sharks is because what kind of water is being pushed up for this storm surge? Salt water.
Ocean water.
Which means it's ripe for sharks. So, yeah, sharks can come in there. But not only that, Florida also has this other thing. It's called an alligator. Again, granted, maybe the alligators kind of, took off. But at the same time, maybe there's one around just deciding maybe he'll get lucky. So you got these people walking through waist-deep water as it's slowly receding.
Bunch.
Yeah. So, you've got all these first responders that are out there just kind of, they're walking around door to door trying to make sure that they got everybody or, they've at least found a body or whatever. Mm-hmm. And, they could get hurt. Or perhaps they're walking along the street and suddenly they step into an open an open sewer thing, where the cover popped off. Boom, down, gone. See ya.
Mm-hmm. Bye.
Who's going to dive after him? Nobody. And of course, take that point. There could be a sewer drain, a sewer cover open, but that also means that sewer water is going to be in there. So they're walking through sewer water, which is why you see first responders always wearing waders. Mm-hmm. Granted, it's Florida, it's hot, and I'm sure they'd really, really prefer to be in shorts, but they're not that dumb.
Yep.
They're walking around in waders because there's crap floating.
Regular people, meanwhile.
Oh, yeah.
They are stupid.
Yeah, they're walking around in shorts and, shorts and shirtless thinking they're cool as all to get out, but...
Yep.
Yeah.
One guy standing in 109 mile an hour wind waving it, holding his American flag or Trump flag or whatever it was. Just standing there like a dumbass.
Yeah, it's just incredible how stupid people are. All just trying to get their 15 minutes of fame, and that's what it is, They're so worried about trying to be famous that they don't realize how much danger they're putting themselves in, how much danger they're putting everybody else in, and how much money it's going to cost the taxpayers to save their dumbass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's a tragedy because a lot of people lost their lives. And, the thing with that is not every one of them lost their life because they did not evacuate. Some of them were attempting to evacuate and lost their lives. It happens. It's part of the compromise of living down in Florida. I've said before, I don't know if I've said it on here, but where you choose to live is about what compromises you're willing to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm not willing to deal with hurricanes like they have down in Florida, or alligators, crocodiles, or earthquakes in California, or fires in California.
Or tornadoes in the Midwest.
Or tornadoes in the Midwest. I'm willing to compromise with snow.
Yeah, snow's worth it.
Because to me, it's...
I'd move to Pennsylvania, but the roads are not worth it.
Yeah. But, it's all about the compromises you want to make. And, to me, snow is the lesser of all evils.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to natural disasters. Yeah, we get some tornadoes, but very rare.
It's debatable whether snow even is a natural disaster.
Well, it's natural. Whether it's a disaster or not, it's a different story.
Yeah, that's the question. Is it a disaster?
It depends on the snowfall, how much you get. I mean, if you get 2 feet of snow in a 24-hour period, that's a problem.
That's a disaster.
Yeah. But
Have fun getting out of that.
yeah. But, you know, it's all a matter of where you want to
enough money
compromise.
for gas for your snowblower.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, in this economy, you don't.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, looks like we dragged the 3 topics we had out quite a bit. And I'm sure you've heard the music.
Hey, good night.
We'll see ya.